Today we're talking about Pedro Pascal, who was once considered to be the perfect, wholesome, nice guy of Hollywood, but now he's getting hate from pretty much everyone, to the point where he's literally getting cooked alive on social media with posts that are receiving tens of millions of views and a crazy amount of engagement. When I first heard about the hate, I was initially shocked. I mean, to me, Pedro has always been a good indicator for whether or not a show would be good. I know we can all agree when I say this, but whenever Pedro joins a show, it's always a guarantee and a strong indicator that the show is going to be good. And whenever he leaves a show, well, that's always a... sorry guys, I just got jump scared there for a second, but like I was saying, whenever he leaves a show, well, that's always been a strong indicator that the show is pretty much guaranteed to fall off a cliff. Now, I'm gonna be brutally honest here for a second, but what the fuck is this? And this is not coming from a place of ignorance. I know this is from The Last of Us show, and even though I've never watched it, I've played the games before, but is this really what a clicker's supposed to look like in a show? Because to me, this looks like the face of a special needs terminally ill kid whose make-a-wish was to appear in a TV show. But even though I was initially shocked by the massive hate that Pedro seems to be getting recently, part of me gets it. I mean, when Hollywood is literally spamming your cheeks in every single high-production movie and TV show that's been coming out these past few years, it's going to cause fatigue.
A lot of people, myself included, are tired of seeing Pedro Pascal and everything.
And here's the thing, guys, you know something's wrong when you've literally got 3 movies showing in theaters right now that have Pedro Pascal as the main lead.
You guys come to AMC theaters, what movie you want to see? You want to see a Pedro Pascal movie? You want to see a Pedro Pascal movie? Or do you want to see a Pedro Pascal movie?
Now, I'm sure we can all agree that Pedro himself shouldn't be blamed for starring in so many movies. After all, he's just securing his bag, and you can't blame someone for being good at his job. But even then, it doesn't seem to change the fact that a lot of people are tired of seeing Pedro in pretty much every single high-production movie that's released in the past few years. But when there's fatigue, hate, and more often than not, needless hate follows. But to say that the only reason that people are hating on Pedro Pascal is because they're tired of him would be intellectually dishonest. Because this is nothing new. Actor fatigue has always been a thing. We've seen it with Tom Holland. We've seen it with Jack Black. I mean, I remember when it got announced that Jack Black would be in a Minecraft movie.
Who are you?
I am Steve.
Bruh, I remember seeing this and saying to myself, wow. My man's really put on a blue shirt and said, fuck it, I'm Steve now. But the Jack Black or Tom Holland fatigue never resulted in actual hatred, but more so in memes. Whereas the Pedro Pascal hate is on a whole new level. That's right, in today's video, we are addressing the real reason as to why Pedro Pascal seems to be getting a lot of hate, why a lot of people are labeling him as a creep, whether or not all of the hate is warranted, and we are investigating huge misinformation campaigns on both sides of this situation. For example, we've got funny memes such as this one, cooking Pedro Pascal, but even though they're funny as fuck, unfortunately, they're not factually true. And we've also got mentally challenged people who are assuming that Pedro Pascal is gay, and who are saying that if you're gay, it's okay to be handsy with people of the opposite gender. As someone who's got no horse in this race, something I've noticed is that Pedro seems to be giving a lot of people the heebie-jeebies because of how sus he acts with other actors in real life. Take this clip, for example.
Where have you been? Where have you been?
I've been busy.
I know, baby. But
Answering questions about you.
You can't believe me alone that long. That's a little too long, baby.
We'll need it.
Come on. Very codependent, very codependent.
Now, I'm gonna be honest. When I first saw this clip, I was actually really happy for Pedro. I mean, I was like, my man's aging gracefully, he's got a baddie for a wife, and he got a kid that's popping out anytime soon. Until I found out that this is not actually his wife, that's not actually his baby, and Vanessa Kirby is actually engaged to someone else. Now, with all this new context in mind, let's watch the clip again.
Where have you been? Where have you been?
I've been busy.
I know, baby. But you
Answering
can't leave
questions
me
about
alone.
you.
Now, I'm gonna be honest here, guys, but calling another man's wife, or another man's partner baby, or touching another man's partner's pregnant belly, that's definitely normal. I mean, who hasn't done that before? Right, guys? Let's cut the crap. Unless you're a proud supporter of the CLM movement, which is short for Cox Life Matter movement, I know we can all agree here when I said that at the very least, this is kinda sus. But one clip is not nearly enough for anyone to draw any kind of conclusion. For all we know, this is just a funny coincidence, or a coincidence, if you would. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I have to see more before forming any kind of opinion. But that is where this second clip comes in. Bro, why is my man's acting like the baby's his? I don't know if you guys caught it, but my man literally reached for the pregnant belly a second time here. But like I said earlier, I've got no horse in this race. And you know what? I'm a very charitable man. So you know, maybe him reaching down on her pregnant belly a second time here, maybe that was just a misinput. So, you know, maybe he meant to touch her hand instead, to grab her hand. Which leads to my second question. Why is he reaching down for her hand? And not only that, but it gets even worse. Not only is he reaching down for her hand, but he's also caressing her arm with his thumb. Now, I don't care who you is. If you're a man and you've got a wife, and your wife's pregnant belly is getting touched by another man twice, and is getting called baby by another man, and is getting her arm caressed by another man's thumb, then you're crashing out. And you've got every right to crash out. And if you're not crashing out, then you're a cuck. And if you're a woman watching this video right now, I know we can all agree here when I say that if you've got a husband and your husband's pregnant belly is getting touched by another girl and is getting called daddy in front of your face, you're gonna rage. And if you're not raging, then you're pretty much supporting getting NTR'd. And you do not want to get NTR'd. Now, we're all smart around here, right? So let's use our critical thinking skills for a second. These two clips I just showed you that are going viral right now and are supposedly portraying Pedro in a bad light, they are taken from a venue that was promoting the new Fantastic Four movie. So obviously, there's always the possibility that Pedro and Vanessa were just getting in character portraying Reed and Sue and they were just engagement farming for marketing purposes. But I'm gonna be honest here for a second, guys. I understand that if you're going to date an actress in real life, you have to accept the reality of things. Reality being that your actress girlfriend might have to kiss another actor on set for a movie, and you have to be okay with this. Take Zendaya, for example. Remember when she got turned into a sandwich in that one movie? Just for people to meme Tom Holland and say stuff like, this is how Tom Holland must have looked like when you saw that scene with Zendaya. And I also remember people saying, oh, Tom Holland needs to star in a movie with a hot girl to get back at her. Just for Tom Holland to hit us with the forbidden jutsu and get his clapped by another man's. Hey, yo, smash like and subscribe if this would be your face, if this and this happened to you in real life. Memes aside, what I'm trying to say is that there's a big difference between having to kiss another actor on set for a movie and doing whatever the fuck this is.
These are gorgeous. I think that's my favorite image so far.
Just our hands.
Yeah. As long
That
as
was
you
our
don't have
very
to
first
see,
day
as
as
long as
well.
you don't have to see.
I'm about to crash out. Yo, if my wife robbed another man's neck, you wanna know what I would do? I would do whatever this dog in Minecraft did.
Is it worth getting back into Overwatch again?
This is what I would do. I've seen some people coping on social media saying that this is normal behavior, that there's nothing wrong with this, and that friends do this. Are we mentally challenged? If you're a grown adult watching this video right now, and you've got a friend who's married, who's got a husband or a wife, doesn't matter, I dare you to go rob your friend's partner's neck and see what happens. Because I guarantee you that this is what would happen. And we have to remember that Chris Rock and Will Smith used to be friends. And one harmless, maybe tasteless joke was enough to completely shatter their friendship. Now, I really hope I'm not reaching here, but I'm pretty sure that seeing your wife rub another man's neck, that has to be way worse than a joke. But it gets even worse.
Terrible confession to make in front of Gordon.
Yo, even if you're the biggest Vanessa Kirby simp out there, even you've got to admit that this is out of bucket. You want to know what this looks like to me? This looks like the guy she tells you not to worry about. And we're talking about Pedro Pascal here, so you want to be even more worried than you would already be.
Some of the best men in the world, so they don't count.
The more I see these clips floating around, the more I hope that whoever Vanessa Kirby is dating, I really hope he's a proud member of the Cucks Life Matter movement. Because if he's not, then man do I feel bad for him. Don't get it twisted. There's a huge difference between friendships and straight up disrespecting your husband. Because if you told me that these two were dating or are married, I'd believe you. These types of sus interactions should only be considered as normal in two types of relationships. One, a relationship where you're a cuck, or two, a relationship where you're dating a no-F girl. Because let's be honest, guys, we all know that in these kind of relationships, when you're dating a no-F girl, you probably call her on the phone and you're like, hey, honey, how's work? And then your girlfriend's picking up and saying, yeah, I'm working so hard right now, while the one's behind her doing something sus to them. Let's be honest. But the clips we've seen so far clearly show Pedro and Vanessa acting sus toward one another, consensually. And I'm gonna go as far as to say that it's actually Vanessa initiating most of the time and acting sus toward Pedro, meaning she's actually the one disrespecting her husband. But make no mistake, I've seen some Pedro Pascal sims try to craft a false narrative by saying that it's Vanessa harassing Pedro, and that she's the one getting handsy with him. But that It's just not true. The sus interactions between Pedro and Vanessa prompted some people to notice some kind of weird pattern between Pedro and his co-workers. Throughout the years, Pedro has been seen acting very handsy with his co-workers, to the point where even he had to step in at some point to explain why he loves to touch people. According to Pedro Pascal himself, the reason why he's so handsy with other people is because it helps him with his anxiety. Now, I want you to remember this explanation as we explore the following next clips, starting with this one. This clip was taken during Comic-Con, where Vanessa Kirby and Pedro Pascal were answering some of the audience's questions. So, let's pay attention to what happens randomly. Now look, you can be the biggest Pedro Pascal simp out there, okay? But I'm pleading with you. Please leave your biased mind for a second, okay? Just leave it behind for a second, because without any context, this, well, it looks kinda off. It looks kinda sus. And I'm gonna tell you exactly why that is. The only reason why people are saying this looks normal, this is wholesome, this is what friends do, is because we're talking about Pedro Pascal here. Now, let's play a fun random game for a second. Let's say you're a hard worker who works in an office, or you work at McDonald's, and you know a coworker of the opposite gender with who you get along with. And let's say randomly, you look like this. Let's say you look like this. What do you think would happen if you randomly went to the coworker you get along with and did this? Not only am I gonna tell you exactly what would happen, I'm going to roleplay and reenact the whole situation. Let's say I'm the woman coworker who you get along with, and you be out there looking like this, and out of nowhere, you decide to grab my arm. Well, this is what would happen. Yo, smash like and subscribe if you know I'm spitting facts here. Now, I already know I'm gonna get some nerd emojis in my comment section who are going to say stuff like,
well, actually, Pedro probably already warned Vanessa about his anxiety problems, and she's clearly understanding of him.
Okay, now let's play this funny game one more time then. Let's say you look like this, and you go to your coworker and say,
oh, by the way, sometimes I get anxiety attacks, and touching other people, it makes me feel better. Oh, your beautiful eyes, they're causing an anxiety attack for me right now. Can I touch you?
You wanna know what would happen if you were to do that? 1, you'd get a restraining order. 2, you'd get a Me Too statement written about you on Twitter. And 3, you'd get doxxed on a T-app. But I do wanna make this clear. As someone whose aim is to be as unbiased as possible, and as someone who loves Pedro Pascal as an actor, even I have to admit that if this wasn't Pedro Pascal, everybody would be in agreement that this just looks off. And here's the thing, guys. We have to be honest with ourselves. You can love a YouTuber, you can love an actor, and you can appreciate their work, but we have to remember that we don't truly know who they are off camera. And if you think you do, well, congratulations. You're being parasocial. Even the most wholesome YouTubers can turn out to be some of the creepiest people in real life. And we've seen it happen over and over again. Even if you're a fan of a YouTuber or an actor, it's always important to criticize them when you see them do something sus. So even if you're the biggest Pedro Pascal fan, you should be able to look at this clip and be like, yeah, you know what? This looks kinda weird, but because it's Pedro Pascal and because he says he's got anxiety and touching people helps him, I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt. But one clip is not enough to draw any kind of conclusions anyway. So let's move on to the next clip. What? Okay, guys, you see what I'm saying though? Pedro Pascal fans will say that whatever happened here is normal. This is what friends do. Like, come on, bruh. I know we're all smart here. I know we can all agree here, even the biggest Sims here, even the biggest Pedro Pascal Sims here, can agree that this, without any context, is straight up sus. Why are we randomly doing the Riz chin move? Why are we doing that? You wanna know what we're dealing with here, guys? This is literally the meme. You know the HR meme? This one, where it's like, if it's Pedro Pascal at the top, it's seen as normal, it's seen as cute, it's seen as wholesome. But if you've got a clap face like this, mark my words, if you decide to randomly do the Riz chin move on a random female coworker, like this, you wanna know what's gonna happen? Boop, boop. You're gonna get smacked so hard, you're gonna end up looking mentally challenged. You're gonna end up looking like Cartman from the Special Olympics episode. It's also worth noting that she's being handsy with a second married woman. But here's my personal stance when it comes to everything we've seen so far. Do some of Pedro Pascal's interactions with his coworkers seem a little bit off? Yeah, 1,000,000%. But are those creepy interactions enough to start making predatory Pascal woman tier lists? Are those creepy interactions enough to start calling Pedro Pascal Pedro Pascal? Which, by the way, is a crazy nickname to give someone. Well, personally, I don't think so. Because every handsy interaction we've seen between Pedro and his coworkers has been consensual, or at the very least, both sides are seen to be smiling. And to this very day, we still don't have a single Me Too statement against Pedro Pascal. So, in my opinion, I don't think it's fair to start calling him Pedro Pascal. Now, is it fair for people to say that Pedro gives them the heebie-jeebies? Yeah, because even I get the heebie-jeebies when I see stuff like this. But we are talking about Pedro Pascal here, and we have to remember that touching people helps him with his anxiety. But when I start to look at clips like this, I'm sorry, but the dokes within me is slowly starting to wake up. Some sus going on here. Some sus going on here. But I can't prove it. But now let's look at another clip with Sabrina Carpenter and Pedro Pascal. Whoop, 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 whoop. Hey, y'all seeing this? He's literally doing the little poopity scoop. He's literally almost doing the poopity scoop, but he's stopping himself last second. Does this look like an anxiety attack to you guys? Because to me, this looks like a get attack, not an anxiety attack. I think I've replayed this clip 20 times, not only because of Sabrina's get, but also because I'm trying to figure out what Pedro's doing in this clip. And every time I look at the clip, to me, it looks like Pedro's just trying to get some ass for that anxiety. Hey, once again, the dokes within me is waking up. Like, some sus going on here. Like, to me, it looks like my man's trying to get some cheeks for that anxiety. But I can't prove it. But because of these weird social interactions, people started cooking Pedro on social media. People started criticizing him, and some other people started memeing him. And that is a pretty crazy meme. But even though this meme in particular is hilarious, it's not actually based on facts. You see, when Pedro's got anxiety, he doesn't only act sus toward female coworkers. He acts sus toward anyone. He doesn't discriminate. Obviously, the purpose of these memes is to strengthen the argument that Pedro is using his anxiety to only be sus and be handsy with hot female coworkers, when that's just not true and he's actually being handsy with anyone, male or female. But make no mistake, I've seen some brain-dead people on the other side of the equation, literally some people who collect disability checks for a living, saying stuff like, "Oh, Pedro's gay, so it doesn't matter if he's handsy with women." Yo! Sorry, I just had to decrease my IQ to the same level of whoever wrote that brain-dead comment. Yo, I'm not even gonna address the whole gay equals I can touch anyone from the opposite gender. I'm not even gonna address that, but I'm just gonna ask you this question. How do you know Pedro's gay? Because as far as I'm concerned, Pedro to this very day has never announced to the world that he's gay, and he's never come out. You're just assuming. For all we know, he could be bi. And anyone who's gay or lesbian watching this video right now will agree that the last kind of person you want calling your partner baby or touching your partner's pregnant belly is someone who's bi. Because let's be honest, guys, but for bis, cheeks are cheeks. Hey, for them, it's a free buffet. Don't matter if you're a guy or a girl. I've also seen some cooked dokes memes like this one where it's like, "Oh, I wonder why Pedro's never touching Bella Ramsey when he's having an anxiety attack." And of course, I understand the meaning of the joke. It's like, "Oh, Bella Ramsey looks clap, and he only goes for attractive women." That's like the whole argument behind the meme, right? When it's actually a good thing that he never touched Bella Ramsey if you think about it. They're 30 years apart. It would actually be worse if he actually did do something sus with her. If he actually was handsy with her. Because then we'd actually have a solid argument for Diddy behavior or for Leonardo da Vinci DiCaprio behavior. Here's my final input on the matter. I think we live in a world where PDF files go unpunished. I think we live in a world that might be controlled by PDF files. I mean, we've all seen what happened with the Epstein files. Absolutely disgusting what's happening there. And because of these new tensions, new controversies, I genuinely feel like people are just very cautious nowadays, especially when it comes to directors and actors within Hollywood, to the point where if they see them acting sus, doing something that feels off, they're going to call it out. And unfortunately, reach conclusions maybe too fast sometimes. Do I personally think that Pedro is 100% a creep, 100% PDF file? Obviously not. I don't think there's enough concrete evidence to even conclude that. And unless there's a Me Too statement that comes out, I'm not ready to call him a PDF file just yet. I'm not ready to call him Pedro Pascal just yet. But anyways, I don't know about you guys, but I'm having an anxiety attack right now. So smash like and subscribe, or I'm gonna touch your get tonight.